What is up,
Yeah.
everybody? It is your guy Tyler here with Mom's Basement MMA, and I have Mr. CEO Briar Cadle with us from Yorksville, Ohio. Briar, man, how are you doing tonight, man? You look crisp, man, and you look like you're in a cave or a car. I can't tell,
No doubt. I'm in a car, but I'm doing good. How you doing, man?
dude. I am. Well, I watched the UFC fights. That was pretty cool. I was happy that
Yeah,
Glover Teixeira won.
I know
Um,
that was sweet.
Good for him, right? I mean, he's been in the game for a long time, so I'm happy for that. And I'm happy for Halloween. My I will be Luigi, and my son is going to be Mario. So I'm excited for that.
That's
I
sweet.
I love
Yeah, that's
Halloween,
sweet.
man.
I was trying to find a costume. I didn't know what the hell to wear. I was like, I don't know.
I don't know. Go. Do you know who Richard Simmons is?
Oh yeah,
Be that guy. Just wear a
yeah, I
tank
definitely
top,
should.
and all you need is like a brown afro, and you're good, man. Um,
Absolutely.
Briar, like one of the reasons why I asked you to be on the show is just because I study a lot of different athletes at all weight classes, at all different levels, and you are somebody that just really impressed the hell out of me. And I think you're
I
so
appreciate that.
talented. You have an immense amount of potential. You're almost 6 feet tall, 145, 155 pounds. Like those are the you could have a future as a featherweight or a lightweight.
Yeah,
And the thing that stands out about me so much about you is your wrestling and your strength. You've been in Honor FC, Cage Thunder, Premier Fighting Championship, and then you also did a little stint on Street Beefs. I'd be remiss to not talk about it. I'm sure you're tired of talking about it, but I have to. But before we get there, your nickname is Mr. CEO. That is a gangster name. I want to know how the hell you got that.
All right, yeah, this is actually a funny story because like I when I was like 18 years old, I just got out of high school and like actually I went to college, dropped out of college, and I'm like, shit, I need a job. And I always, I always knew like I could be I've always been a fighter, what
Mm-hmm.
no matter what it was. But every day I was I got a job at Walmart at the time. Every day, like everyone looks so miserable, and I'm like, what the hell? And like I've always had that like just own it mentality. Like I didn't like seeing people just so like they look miserable with life. So I was like, every day I'd walk in and I'd say, I'm the CEO of this motherfucker. I'd cuss at them, and they'd be like, they just laugh at me and look like I'm stupid. And then and then because I knew that wasn't my life job. I was just 18 years old,
Sure.
and I was with my buddies and like we had fun together. And he's like, "You won't get to walk." And he goes, "You talk about how you're a CEO of that place all the time." And we're just laughing. He goes, "You won't get a tattoo of the logo on your foot or something." I said, "Shut up." And then I ended up getting the tattoo of the logo on my foot. And then since
Wait,
then,
you
like,
have the tattoo of Walmart on your foot.
yeah, like the star. And that's why I kick truckers with.
Good for you, dude. That is hilarious. You got the
Yeah.
star on your foot. I think if anything, as you get older, it's a good reminder where you came from, right? Like that's what it's
Absolutely. Like
about.
now I'm like, damn it, but like it's kind of cool in a sense. But like, yeah, I definitely probably wouldn't do that now.
I want to ask you a little bit, Briar, about being on the AMI scene and just how difficult that shit is. And the reason why I say that, I can't imagine what you're going through to keep up on your weight, to keep up on your training. I don't know if you're going to school or if you're working full time or doing a combination of both, but like, how are you able to like maintain all this? Because obviously, when you're on the AMI scene, you're not getting paid. That's always one of the
Yeah,
first questions I ask because there's a lot. Like, fighting is difficult, not only from, I'm not even talking about what happens in the cage, I'm talking about everything leading up to that. So, how are you
absolutely.
doing it?
I mean that is a good question. Like, because people they hear fighter and they just automatically like blow. Like they're like, oh my gosh. But like right now I'm going through like um a lot of adversity with just healing and stuff from my broken jaw. So like right now, like I am in school, like I'm going through like a lot of like online schooling and getting certificates and stuff like that.
Sure.
But other than that, like I'm just trying to like I kind of like not gonna lie, like I lost a lot of confidence through all this bull crap going on. Like I broke my jaw, then I'm finding out I had infection in my bone, and then, it's just been like a lot of roadblocks recently. But like I end up, every day I'm in the gym, I pick up a piece of what, like I pick it up again, and then I build that confidence back. So I mean, like right now, I am working a little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
I know when to pull the trigger.
I
Like
got you.
I'm working, training, trying to find my mental health. Like it's a lot right now.
Good on you for because I know how bad you want to get back out. I know you do. I know you're
Yeah,
itching to get back out.
dude, I'm like a crackhead for it
Right.
right now.
Yeah, and most fighters that compete at a competitive level, whether it's pros or amis, you all are very similar that way. Like you're wired for this shit, and you want to get. And there's the worst thing you could do is rush yourself back because what happens if you get cracked again where you got hurt at?
Exactly, and
Then
that's where
what?
I'm at for sure, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. But I just had a talk with one of the other top dogs in Ohio, and we were just chit chatting back and forth, and he has that same mindset as me, just like kind of a little twitch, and he just like randomly texts me a whole bunch of guys that broke their jaw and shit,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, yeah, guess what? This guy was a world champ, broke his jaw the year before. Yeah, this guy had spinal surgery, and he just like randomly texts me this bullshit, and I'm like, hmm. And that's who I am. Though. I'm a fighter, and if that's how I go down, I don't give a shit because that's what I love, and that's purely. And like if I get cracked again, guess what? I shouldn't have got hit. So let's train better. But I mean that ain't the case because I don't want to be drawn. That's also like where I'm gonna step in and say I don't want to be drooling around my kids I don't have yet. I don't want to
Yeah.
be. I don't want to be a baby so saying why you drooling?
Yeah, I
Trying
got
to
you.
yeah. So
It's all about having that restraint and knowing when you need to rest and heal, and then knowing when you can go. And if you can't go, then fucking don't. Well, that's stupid.
exactly,
It's stupid.
exactly.
And Briar, I want to like throw it back. Have talked about this in previous interviews. You took a street beefs fight, and I kind of want to stop right there, and I want to talk just about street beefs at large. For people who don't know what it is, I'll do this part for you because I'm sure you're tired of talking about it. Street Beefs is a backyard fight club of sorts. It's open for Amis. There's no pay involved, and it's really like two guys show up. They're roughly the same size. They get into like literally a backyard ring, like Jorge Masvidal, and they
Yep.
beat the fuck out of each other for fun. That's basically
Exactly.
what it is.
I swear. Yeah.
I
Hey,
don't know. I don't know if I need to like mention anything else prior, but that's basically the gist of it. It
yep.
is they have a cult following online. Routinely, their YouTube videos get hundreds of thousands of hits. So I have to ask you: you're an Ohio kid.
Yeah.
That promotion is based, I believe, out of Virginia. I assume you had to drive from Ohio to Virginia for that fight. Is that right?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
I got a funny story on this too. That was crazy. Yeah, like I was at my high school. Like, dude, I was going through some rough shit at 18 years old. Like, I'm only 21 now. So, like, 18, 19 years old. Like, dude, I don't know. I mean, I wasn't into, like, I wasn't doing drugs and shit like that. But, like, I was lost in the head. So, like, I was actually at my high school. And the teachers, like, I was just visiting, like, I was actually seeing my cousin or something. I was already graduated, and I was just seeing my cousin that went to high school. And the teachers are like, they're like worried about me. They're giving me job applications and shit. And to be like a janitor at my high school I graduated from, I'm like, dude, are you serious? Like,
They really
I'm
wanted
not.
you to do that?
Yeah, I'm like, dude, get the fuck out of my face. Like, get away from someone out of my car. And like, I think I probably smoked a bowl or something right in the fucking
Sure.
school parking lot. And I get a text message from a guy that cuts my hair, and
Mm-hmm.
he's like, "You're the only kid I know that would do some crazy shit like this." And he's like sending me videos about it, and I'm like, "Huh?" And I'm like, "I can fight, I can wrestle," and I always grew up around MMA. My uncle owned an MMA gym and shit, so I've been like inherited around that shit. But I
Right.
never trained, so I'm like, yeah, I've been in some street fights. Fuck it, let's do it. And I'm like, how do I do this? And he's like, I don't know. So I like look up street beefs on like everything I can. Finally, I find it on Facebook, and I'm like, I message people. I'm like, I want to fight. So I end up. They're like, okay, come down here. And they let no, they like I don't know. They had to ask me like I had to do some bullshit. They asked me some questions or something, and they sent me the address. They're like, all right, this date, and I'm like,
how does that? So like, what kind of questions do they ask? Is it just like what kind of experience you have, so they can kind of have that in the back of their mind before they match you up?
I was like, well, I wrestled, but I've never like boxed. I've never been in a boxing match, MMA fight, like none of that. They're like, all right, we'll put you, I forget, like I honestly forget the messages, but they're like, all right, send me a picture of your ID, birth certificate, and shit like that. And they sent me the address, went down there, and I'm like, who am I fighting? And then they're like, you look like the same size as him. Will you fight him? And I'm like, I'll fight anyone here, but like, who am I fighting?
Who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, I'm like, nice to meet you. I'm gonna beat your ass. Hi. Yeah, so then I got this guy, and then I'm just like, all right, well, now I hate you. So then I'm like all pissed off. Like,
is there ever a concern, like in the back of your mind? Because like I'm sure that's like God, what is that? Like a 10-hour drive? It's not close. It's kind of far.
Probably. I think it was 8 hours.
Okay, so you're a day in the car, and when you're driving, are you like, I better be able to fucking fight somebody? Because if I come all the way the fuck down here and I can't find a fight, I'm gonna be pissed. Like, did you ever think about that or no?
No, honestly, I was thinking, what the fuck's going on? Like, what am I doing right now? No, but like, I was down for it. I'm like, dude, yeah, I'm going to fight. Like, it was not, like, I just felt like, whatever, I'm going to fight. I knew it was like a backyard street fight type thing. So I'm like, yeah, I don't give a shit. Let's fight.
Did you have any idea that it was as big as it really was?
No.
At the time?
I swear, dude, I was all the way 40 miles, an hour away from my house, and like in Amish country and shit, and like these like Amish dudes would come up to me and they're like, you're that kid off Street Beef, and I'm like, what the fuck, what'd you just say to me? And they're like, that is, and I'm like, no. They're like, dude, I watch that shit all the time, and I'm just like, dude, I don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
So like random people are coming up and talking to you about this fight?
Yeah, and they're like, yeah, you're Mr. CEO and shit. And I'm like,
I want to talk specifically about that fight because I got to be honest with you, Briar. I laughed my fucking balls off watching that fight. I laughed so hard. Not because of you. Not because of the fight. There's this fat in the background eating a bag of like Cheetos, and I can't help but look at this guy. He is like you are popping this poor bastard. Like you have back mount, you're just blasting this kid in the face. And this sad sack of shit is sitting right like 2 feet away from you. And like he's just like munching down on these like Cheetos. And there gets to a point in the fight, you're getting ready to knock this kid out. Fight's about to end. And this dude empties the bag of like chip dust into his mouth. And I could not stop watching this guy. Like, I laughed so hard, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, you know, if I ever get to a point where I'm caught on camera at a Street Beefs fight, and I'm that fucking fat, and I'm, like, I have no shame left, put a fucking bullet in my head. That's what I'm thinking. And that's what made it even more funny for me. Like, how many times have you seen that? Like, you know exactly what I'm talking about, that fat fucking dude.
I can probably tell you what minute it was.
Like, dude, I laughed so hard. That is going to be the thumbnail for this episode. I got a picture of that. I'm going to put my logo on top of that guy's face so he doesn't sue me. That'll be the thumbnail for our video.
Deal. That's awesome.
It's going to happen. Did you think, like, here's basically how the fight went. You take the guy down, you beat the hell out of the kid. You dominated the Street Beefs fight 100%. You beat this guy up, and like when that's in your rear view mirror, and then you start looking at competing like on the actual AME circuit, we're talking about sanctioned bouts now. Do people, you're a folk hero on one sense, because like the random guy like me is gonna be like, oh dude, I saw you on Street Beefs, that was the fucking shit, you're awesome. But
Yeah.
I feel like there are a lot of other people that are just like street beefs. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like what the fuck? And like, was it hard being taken seriously when you wanted to actually compete in sanctioned bouts? Did that kind of like come back and I won't say haunt you, but did a lot of people talk crap about you because you were featured on it?
Yeah, everyone has their haters, but no one else is doing it. So like no matter what, I'm getting that attention because I'm actually doing it and they're not. So I don't really I don't really give a shit what they have to say necessarily because won my first sanctioned bout, won my second sanctioned bout, won my third sanctioned bout, and overcame something that in the first 20 seconds of the last fight that no, I've never seen anybody do.
So you get on the actual like sanctioned scene. Your debut, your AMI debut, the second fight, it couldn't have started off much better for you. You finish,
Yeah.
you get a UD on your very first bout. Your second one, you choke the guy out. Can you talk, Briar, a little bit about when you think about those first two fights and you look at that tape now? Can you even watch it, or there's so many things you see and you're just like, oh man, I'm so much better now? Can you talk about how you like improved and how you got better since those first two fights?
Every day. Like I just told my girlfriend actually yesterday, I was like, dude, if I would fight any of them three kids right now, I promise you, like I would be such a slow fighter. And when I mean slow, I mean mature fighter. Like I wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
be like all tensed up and like trying to throw some sloppy dumb shit. Like I would literally just one jab at a time, two jabs at a time, and then mac hit him with something. And like, but before, like even in my last fight, I was so tense because I had so much energy. And like I was so mentally like I want to kill someone, but like now I'm just like I've been hit now. I
Mm-hmm.
know that this shit. I've felt that this shit is life and death. I felt that you know it's not to fuck around with. So like you gotta really pick and choose your shots, and you gotta be conditioned with that shit.
Talk to me about the bout in January. So there are a couple things that we've already talked about. Number one, you get cracked in the jaw, you break your jaw, and it was pretty noticeable watching that fight.
Yeah,
The reason why I say that, having a pretty good pulse check on you, having seen enough of your tape out there, I know that your cardio is really good. I know that people usually don't have like like your caliber of cardio. You're the type of guy that doesn't get tired. After that happened, you get kneed in the mouth. Your mouth is open the entire time, and it was
yeah,
obvious. It was obvious to me. I was like, he's not tired. That shit is fucking broken. Like
yeah. No shit.
guaranteed. It was so obvious looking at it. Not only do you get cracked in the jaw and it breaks, but you get kneed in the balls like repeatedly throughout that
No
entire first
shit.
round. There are like two or three different times, Briar, where you got like kneed in the junk. Like,
Male birth control.
dude, good for you for maintaining your composure. Like, I can't imagine how I would respond to something like that. I know it's part of the game. I know it happens, but like, I just felt like this guy was kind of doing it intentionally. That might not be true, but I just felt like,
I'll respect that guy. Like we're cool, but that dude knew he was fucked. So he was coming with a kill shot, and he realized that kill shot wasn't killing him. So, and that was his last resort right in the first damn round.
I was
And
surprised they didn't deduct a point after like the second or third one.
I know,
I'm like, are you
the
fucking
first one
kidding
I
me?
was like, that's cheap, but I'm tough. And then the second one, it's like, mother trucker, I'm getting some break to breathe.
Yeah, you like fell on your back, and like
Yeah, I was
it
like,
was
and
pretty
the guy got
gnarly.
a cup on, but that shit still break. It pinches some shit.
Yeah, I don't think it matters when you're getting clipped at full speed like that. Like,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
you go out there, the bout, it's a really close fight. There's no point deduction. It's a back and forth fight.
yeah.
You win a split decision at the very end, and the commentators are kind of talking shit on you a little bit, saying like,
Dude, them dudes are turds.
they're just saying like, oh, this is bad judging, like this is bad officiating. He didn't really win, but okay, whatever, it is what it is. And you look back on that fight now, like, do you look back and you're like, no, they made the right decision. I clearly won that fight. Or do you also look at it from the lens of like, fuck, man, I got lucky? Because sometimes when you go to the judges, you just don't know what's going to happen.
No, I knew I won that fight before I won the fight. Before the fight was even, before I even knew I was fighting the kid. Because first of all, the judges, they're pussies. Like I hate them. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and you look at Jake, the kid I fought's record, 3-1 before I fought him, 3-2 now, but 3-1 before I fought him, and all 4 fights are through Premier MMA. So this dude is a blow boy for Premier MMA.
Mm-hmm.
And I was his little, and I was beating their little blow boy's ass. And the thing is, I was 21 years old. This kid's a 28-year-old with 2 kids. And okay, so now they're like, oh my god, this little kid's coming in and beating his ass, and they don't like that, so they're gonna talk shit. Like, who is this kid? You know, I'm a new kid on the amateur scene. I ain't trying to be disrespectful. It's just the truth of it. Like, I don't even know who the fuck them dudes were, and that's what for anyone who wants to talk shit. Like, that's just how I am. I'll fight you. Like, I'll fight if they want to talk shit. I don't like that, but that don't bother me because that's why they're commentating and not fighting.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's only a very small fraction of the population that would even dream about doing this type of stuff that you're doing. You're a very exciting fighter. I think it's just a matter of time
It is.
before you are able to like assert your dominance in a form where people can actually see just how good you are, because you've been limited.
Absolutely.
Like, your exposure's been limited. Street Beefs was good. And then you go and you're fighting in front of these smaller shows, which everyone does. That's just part of the process, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Briar, like, I'm not gonna put a timetable on it. I know, like, when it comes to like your health and being ready, like, you want to go when you're ready. But is it safe to say like the rest of is it safe to say you're gonna take the rest of this year off, and then in 22 you're gonna look to get back out there?
Yeah, I'm definitely taking the rest of this year off. Like, I'm not definitely not ready. I'm trying to like compete in some grappling and maybe like some exhibition like boxing slash light sparring. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
matches just to get that competing mentality. But I might even take 22 off because I when I come back, I want to get that composure that I deserve. I want that. I want, and I will. Like, that's what I want. That's what I'm gonna get.
And
So
you're
that's what
young,
I want
man.
to do.
Like,
Yep.
if you're gonna take some time off and do what you're gonna do, now's the time to do it. You're a young
Yep.
guy, and this happens. Like, there are some guys that go on a hiatus and they may not even fight for like 2 years, and then they come back. They're like 24, 25. They're yoked, ready to go, and they're totally different. And I've talked to enough fighters, and some of them tell me like, dude, taking like 12 to 18 months off was like the best thing I ever did.
Yep.
And it's like I wasn't like sitting on my couch playing Call of Duty. Like, I was still going to the
Yep.
gym. I was still being active, but I learned so much about the game and so much about myself, just kind of getting my teammates ready and like cornering guys. Like, it just helped my overall fight IQ. Is that more or less kind of where you are right now?
Yeah, because that was, I mean, as deserving, I guess. Like, that was a big reality check.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so now it's kind of figuring out what's the best moves now. Like, what do I got to do to actually peak and be at and get to that, what that next level. So, like I'm sitting there, I'm getting healthy and I'm figuring a lot of stuff out right now.
Totally
And what,
understand. And
yep,
then we get back out there. We take a few more AMI fights, and then it's going to be moving up to the professionals
yep.
scene, and that'll be a big step for you. I'm certainly looking forward to seeing that. I'm looking forward to seeing you back in action when the time is right for you. Before I let you go, Briar, I wanted to give you the opportunity. If there's anyone from your gym, if there's anyone you need to shout out, go ahead and do it.
Yeah, I got a special guest for you. I got Zion Clark. I
What's
don't know if,
up? It's Big Z, man.
What's
I don't know
up?
if you know I don't know if you know who Zion Clark is, but you can look him up.
Netflix.
Oh, there
He's
you are.
Okay.
he's a track star wrestler.
Sweet. What's up with your finger, man? Did
I
Briar
broke
break?
it
Did
the other
Briar
day.
fuck
Yeah,
you
I'm
up?
actually fighting in just martial arts in general too. Training out in California under
Nice.
Bellator Team Arena, and under Team Body Shop up in Long Beach.
Hell yeah.
And my boy Briar, I'm telling you right now, he's working like a dog. He works like a dog. He is a dog.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
he has that mentality to take it further. You know what I mean?
Well, dude, like, you need to be on my show, like, where we can do it proper, and then Briar could be in the back, you know, doing whatever the fuck it is you're doing. I'm not even asking.
Yeah, no.
I don't, you know, I don't even want to know, man. I don't even want to know. I'm a good kid, man. I don't know what you guys do.
No, we're actually about to go and grab some Mexican food. But yeah, that. So you know how that goes.
Yes, I do. Yes,
Margaritas.
I do. Yeah, man, you gotta get crunk, right?
Exactly.
Yep. What shout outs do you got? Hook that up.
You know, honestly, my head coach, Jose Burgos, without that guy, I'd probably honestly be, you know, off the deep end. I mean, I wouldn't say that, but I don't know where I'd be without that guy and Common Ground Grappling Club in general. Because, I mean, we're not big, but we stay together. So, that's all that matters.
Big doesn't make a difference, man. It's all about having a tight team and being there for each other. That's just really what it's all about. Briar, man, I appreciate your time, man. This was awesome.
I appreciate you.
And,
this was awesome.
And let's run it back, man. Let me know when you're ready, and let's freaking run it back.
Yeah, let's run it back, bud.